Today we are reviewing. This is the real villain. First of all, shout out to you for coming back. If you came back, shout out to you for being new. If you're new, my name is Nikki.
Oh damn, and I'm Emmy.
That's who she is. And we are talking today about the new Megan Thee Stallion documentary. In her words,
Yes.
in my words, in her words.
Her words? Yeah, her words.
In her words, and it's a new Amazon Prime thingy. And I feel like Amazon, I just want to say this real quick now, I feel like Amazon Prime is doing a lot of like things with musicians and stuff. Is that new, or have they always been doing that?
I feel like maybe are they trying to find their lane? Because you know how each streamer is trying to like.
I think they're trying to
differentiate
because they had the
themselves.
Kendrick concert, and they had
a lot of. They had the fancy shows.
Yeah. So anyways, just a remark. So I did not know this was coming out, but when it came out.
Learn about it.
When it came out, the internet told me,
Oh.
because one specific moment went viral, and we'll just start off with that moment. Because why would anything else go viral but this specific part?
Which side on the internet am I? Because
Megan Thee Stallion admits to having lied about sleeping with Tory Lanez. And so that's the part that everybody was running with. This was the part of I didn't even know where it was from. I thought she did an interview, and I was like, oh, this is a documentary thing on Amazon. So I was like, I'm pretty sure there was more than just 30 seconds in there. So let me go see what's up. Because I saw that it had been trending that whole day. So I said, let me see. And I watched a couple minutes of it, and I said, I texted Amy, I was like, let's do this. Let's review it. Because it's time for me to break my silence on this. Because
you've had shit to say.
I feel like I haven't really spoken about this situation in depth the last few years. I said, obviously, like everybody, if he shot her, put him under their jail. Were there things that were strange, inconsistent in the story? Of course. Everybody deserves due process. Let me start off with that. Everybody deserves to be innocent until proven guilty. However, I do not think that means we have to shame the victim, that we have to shame the victim, that we have to drag them through the mud, that we have to scrutinize everything they say, because remember, they are the victim, if this is correct. But maybe that doesn't apply to black women. I don't know. Let me start off by saying, it's like the beginning of the documentary, I was like, she's so pretty. I'm a person,
Very pretty,
very beautiful girl. And I will say this, like, I think maybe we're the same age. She might be 95.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but I do remember when she came out around time, I was like, oh, okay, like, this girl's an Aquarius, she's my age. You know, I'll be honest, like, I'm not gonna sit here and blow smoke. I'm still not the biggest fan of her music.
Same.
A lot of her,
Except the hits that
there are some that slap, but a lot of the stuff, it's just not for me. I find it redundant. But I will say, in the last couple albums, there has been many more tracks off those two albums that I have actually added. I'm not gonna say I added the whole album, but there were more stuff that I found listenable than the prior work. So I'll say this, and I think she is a talented girl. I'm not taking anything away from her talent. I don't think it's my style actually of music all the way.
Listen, I agree with that. I don't listen to that type of music that much. So
yeah,
that's also.
So that's just to say, like, it's anything I'm about to say. It's not like no dick riding or dick eating because I'm a fan at all. Because I'm a passive one at best. So I don't think we started off with her like graduation ceremony, and I don't think a lot of people realize how tough it is that to continue. I'm talking like experience. I'm not famous, but I'm just saying, like, to continue to obtain your degree while
doing everything she was doing.
But not even she blew up. She had blown up when she got her degree, and she didn't say F this. She kept doing it. I was like, that's shout out to you, like. Shout out to women, bro. Like, we're actually dope sometimes. Like, I feel like a nigga would have been quit, but that's my opinion. And then we see. I got to see something again because I'm not a hottie gang or whatever they call it. So I didn't know too many intimate things about her life. I did know her mom had passed away. Didn't know what her mom looked. I know nothing.
Oh,
about
you didn't
her
know her mom was?
I said I knew her mom,
okay,
but I just didn't know. I didn't even know when it happened. I just knew like her mom was dead, like, you know. Yeah. So hearing that story and seeing how integral, it reminded me a little bit about of how close Kanye and his mom were. You know, just seeing that relationship, and that was their. I think it looked like only child, only parent. Oh no, but she did have her dad as well. Her dad passed. But anyways, they just had that really close relationship. And I was like, oh man, like her mom was a rapper too. Her mom was a thick baddie, you know, and she was out here writing lyrics. And I was like, okay, that's where she gets it from. I learned that her father was in jail for the first 8 years of her life.
Yeah.
And he came out, and I thought the way that the documentary made it, it was like, because it was like, oh, and then my dad came out of jail. I thought it was like, damn, they had a shit relationship. No, she's like, no, we were super close. Loved him. He put me up on game. He said everything that grins isn't
and your friend.
And everything that grin ain't your friend or something like that. I thought, great advice. And then and then he died. I was like, damn. Okay, so both her parents dead. I truly thought her father was alive. I don't know why I thought that, but again, I didn't know anything that much about her. I learned that she was bullied in school for her height. Children suck. How you gonna bully somebody for her height? That's probably what
children bully people for anything.
Well, that's probably tall, they probably called her a horse, huh?
You too tall, you're too skinny, you're too short, you too everything, anything. Right. Your hair is red. They will like literally anything.
Well, I mean, do better, guys. Teach your kids better. Come on. So her father died when she was in the 9th grade of a heart attack, and she started taking her music career more seriously. Her mom was super supportive of this. I took a little bit from the documentary that her mom possibly was living a little bit through her and vicariously, because she was really into, like Megan said it, and I don't even think Megan has realized this, but just the way that she said my mom was in charge of everything. She told me how to move, how to talk, how to do. I was like, interesting. I just, you know, but I do think that her mom obviously had wanted to be a rapper in the past or whatever, and to see your daughter like look at how she looked, rapping how she rap, you're like, damn, okay, I'm gonna put all this behind her. Her mom would be like, twerk harder. I was like, okay, Megan mama, okay. I liked her. I liked the little clips I saw of her, and I'm glad. What I will say about this, the times that we live in, it's really good that we have a lot of video footage and stuff of our loved ones, and we have HD stuff, and like these are things that we'll be able to remember for the rest of our lives. Because I have like family members in my family who are not like doing super well right now, but I always have I have so much content of them, and I'm like, that's dope that we live in this era. So then she had her breakthrough. As she's having her breakthrough, well, I don't know if her mom was already sick, but this is a big old freak breakthrough, and the whole like her motto of like being female empowerment, and you could be sexy, you can
talk about sexuality,
talk about sexuality and all of that. That was what she was like running on. But then as she's having this huge Billboard chart breaking breakthrough, her mom gets they find a tumor in her mom's brain. Not a good sign. So they take her to the hospital, and she talks about her mom, even while her mom was in the hospital, like, yo, just because I'm sick, don't stop. Like, her mom really had that hustle mentality. You've made it this far. Don't let this be the thing that makes you stop. And when she said that, it immediately reminded me of Normani, because I don't know if anybody of you guys are familiar with Normani's situation. She had her parents are sick, and because we for a while we were hearing, and, a lot of Normani all over the place, and then nothing. Well, her parents got sick, and she took a step back to take care of her family, which is, I find, very natural. It's fine, but when you're on a trajectory like that, it hinders your career, especially in the attention span, like time deficit era that we're in. You can sometimes miss your moment. So I thought that was very poignant that her mom told her, I'm lying here with a tumor in my brain, but I don't want you to stop working. It's wow. And that Megan listened. It shows me a little bit of their dynamic as well. Eventually the doctors were like, she's like brain dead, there's anything keeping her alive is this machines. She had to make the decision to put, again, these are things I did not know. Had no idea that this is how her mom passed. Had no idea that she had to pull the plug.
is, I mean, I don't know, like, firsthand, but I can imagine that it's insane in terms of how hard it is.
It's only and living parent.
Yeah, and then that you have to maintain whatever front that you have to put out to the world whenever you you have to go work.
That stuff broke my heart. Cause I'm not gonna lie, like I was a softie. I was watching it, I was just like, and 3 weeks later she was on stage talking about after 3 weeks after her mom passed, and
then again, some people that's how they cope.
That's how they grieve. Yeah, for sure.
With losing people, they throw themselves into work because that's the only thing that can maintain them. Some people they
for sure
drown in sorrows.
I don't even want to imagine it. I just don't like it's
that,
just
don't do that to yourself.
I don't know how, but so as she's going through the biggest moment of her life, it's the biggest tragedy happening at the same time, her last remaining parent. So we see now they at this point in the documentary they're showing her success breakthrough. She's performing at the BET Award. She wins a BET Award. She wins a VMA. And she said early 2020, she's like, I want to do a collab with Beyonce. Beyonce drops on Savage remix. They go #1. She's out of here, right? It's a hottie world. It's a hot girl summer. What you.
And you know what's crazy? And the reason why I'm not talking a lot, guys, is because one, I didn't finish the full thing. I'm missing a few minutes, but also because I didn't connect to it. The content is good, but I didn't connect to it because of the way it was produced and the way it was put together.
And we did not like how it was made.
But here's the thing. The storytelling that you have is way better than what was in the documentary.
Is it?
Way better.
Oh, okay.
Way better. And that's the thing. It's that's, again, and I love documentaries. But I'm just saying that's why I'm kind of because I don't really...
Right. So Emmy,
the content
she's
is
definitely
kinda...
If the technical side is off, I'll always remember when we was watching the Grammys last year on my birthday. She was just whatever was happening, she was just that production, it's just not right. Grammys caught me. I was like, okay, all right, cool.
No, but it
definitely takes her out of things. So I definitely.
But the content, and that's the thing, because I was like, okay, that side I can recognize it, that side I can blah blah. But I was just yeah, this is not put together in a way that I'm not saying other people, I would connect with it, and I feel like there can have been a great way to because the way you're telling it, I'm way more into it than when I was watching it. So.
Well, yes, I will say. I definitely will say I didn't know how into it I would be when it started because I'm not a big fan. Mm-hmm. I thought I was watching it more okay, this is viral content. I have thoughts on Tory. Let me see what's happening, and I ended up connecting to her in a way that I did not expect. And
I'm kind of not surprised.
I'm a little surprised, honestly. I think I came out almost a fan because I was listening to someone else talk. I was like, "Yo, Plan B was sick. Yo, Snakes was sick."
I feel like I'm not surprised because of the parent connection and parent relationship type vibe, and I know that this is something that's very dear to your heart. So that would make you, in my mind, that would make you connect. But also, outside of that, she's pretty dope. Again, that's not necessarily my
and
main
Aquarius
type of
gang. I've always supported that of her.
So
plus she's from Houston, like my sister.
She's
Beyonce's
gorgeous.
My sister, if you guys don't know. But she's
gorgeous. She's talented.
Beautiful. Hard worker.
She works a lot.
I like that.
And it's not that many women in the industry that
have this work ethic.
But also outside of that have reached whatever she's done. It's a lot of people try and a lot of people don't get there. So
that I give Megan her due, regardless of if I love the music or not. She's up there with the Cardis. She's in those conversations. So
and the performances are always.
The ones
I've watched, I'm like,
come on,
yep,
come on, give it to her, give that to her.
You prefer.
So then, as this is happening, we get into the mess. Now remember, she has dealt with some trauma in her past. Father was in jail. Father died. Immediate fame. Mother dies. This is a lot for a person, right? So she's entering this industry without the biggest support system that she has, and now she's trying to connect to people. Now she's friends with Tory Lanez. Now she's out here, driving the boat with everybody. Okay, and according to her in the documentary, she was using a lot of that to numb herself. She's like, everybody's lit. They seem happy. I should be happy. I want to be happy. So she's drinking a lot, and she's hanging out with people that maybe are not her friends. But we do have one person that did claim to be a friend. We have Kelsey.
Claim to be his best friend.
A best friend.
Not just...
Yeah. So her and Kelsey are tighter than tight. That's what I wrote. They were the way she was tighter than tight. I felt her eyes right here.
No, because it was giving Rihanna and her best friend when they showed the little moments.
She was so like Kelsey was like, I know how, like with Megan's mom dying, like I know what that is. I want to be there for her. Like I thought
that was so cute.
I almost forgot what I knew about Kelsey from hearing her name in this trial. I was like, this is a good friend, Savannah. I was like, good job. And then I remembered, oh yeah, well, it takes a turn for the worse. Because Megan, not only is she does have that best friend of Kelsey, but now she's everybody's friend. She's the industry's friend. And I remember that era. Like, I remember Megan popping up, which people were like, yo, does Megan know like, she just pouring liquor into everybody's friend? I was like, well, that's not going to end well. And then the pandemic hit. And Tory Lanez started quarantine radio.
That was something.
That was an era.
That was... I still have screenshots from some crazy moments in my phone. Yeah. Because that was...
Yeah, that's when a lot of people started to realize that they were hanging out because she was on some of those lives and stuff. Like, okay, that's your friend too, I guess. And here at this point in the documentary, she starts to describe the infamous night. Basically, you know, she said they had gone into a fight. They were in the car. Her, Kelsey, Tory
and
somebody else. I don't know. I didn't hear her name, Kylie's name. So maybe she has requested for her name to not be mentioned in this documentary. But I didn't hear her name. But either way, Megan has some liquor up in her. Tory has some liquor up in him. She was talking reckless. She said, I might have disrespected him. He might have been offended for sure. And you know, and I'm not defending anybody. I'm just saying, y'all know what short people, like, you know when you attack short people, like.
And or certain men. Especially when women say things, sometimes they, you know. So
I could see that the energy was like, okay, it's getting higher and higher. She's like, okay, whatever, I'm getting out the car, I'm leaving.
I'm just gonna walk.
I'm gonna walk. And she's in a swimsuit. That's a bad idea. And he comes out the car, he's like, lifts himself out the car, the sunroof. He's like, yo, get back in the car, Megan, get in the car, or whatever. And she's not facing him, but she gets shot in her foot. She falls, and she's, according to her story, is crawling on the street.
Which was depicted with a cartoon animation.
With an anime. You know, well, Megan is an anime girly.
You know I love anime. And also it was well drawn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was cute, but threw me off.
They played the phone call of Tory in jail to Kelsey. This phone call, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the first time I've heard it in full.
I heard the phone call, and I was just like...
It's so...
It could say anything. This says anything.
Could it? Because what is he saying? Because
he literally said, I would never do that. Saying I would never do that, you don't know if he actually did. Well, from that audio, from what we know afterwards, but from that audio, I was just like...
I thought to me, it sounded like he's saying, you know that without the influence of alcohol, I would have never done that. Like, he's like, I would never do that. I was out of my mind. I was da-da-da. Like, that's what it sounded to me.
Maybe. Again, English is not my first language, so for me, I would never do that means it's not something that I would do.
But it's not even just I would never do that. It's when he said I would never do that, I was out of my mind.
Yeah, he did say it was under alcohol.
So I was like...
I mean, then again.
Okay.
Then again, even with alcohol, do you really...
Some people use alcohol. Well, you know, Jamie Foxx made a whole song about it. Blame it on alcohol. Like, some people use alcohol. They do fucked up shit and like, I was drunk. It's fine.
Because I'm like...
Me, I don't pick up guns when I'm drunk. But also, I don't have a gun. So... So I'm just not funny at all. It's just, it was like that phone call. One, I was like, why Kelsey? Like, what is happening with Kelsey and Tory that I had questions about?
And then we know why.
Yeah, because I was like, why is she?
I guess that was her.
And I just had like a conversation, guys, earlier today with a person who renders a service for me. I'm not gonna say who she is, but she renders a service for me, and she was explaining to me a situation with an alleged best friend, and I said, baby, that's not your friend. That's not even you. That's not your best friend. That's not a friend.
I have questions about this off camera. Oh damn.
I was just like,
oh damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I want y'all to be careful when y'all are throwing around these words, because I know some people will show you the best, but there's the flags. The flags be there, but sometimes, and again, Megan was the last couple years probably. I'm not gonna say, but it's easier to kind of take advantage of her because she's in a very vulnerable state. But you have to sometimes look at stuff like
you have to see who's your friend. You have to see who's your friend 100%. 100%. The situation was messed up from time, but that doesn't justify somebody being shot. My thing is, you can be mad, you can argue, you can do this, you can do that, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
But why? Why are we going to shooting somebody? That's the part where I'm like, because even okay, let's say you're beefing. Okay, you're in a car. You're like, okay, get back in the car. Why do you reach for the gun?
Well, that's
why do you reach for the gun?
That's why the nigga needs to be in jail. That's why I have no problem with him being in jail because we feel so bad for Tory. Like he had a mistake. Bad for what? How many people get angry and don't make that mistake? Like, shut up, bro. Like, get out of here.
I just feel like
so. Obviously, as this story comes out, Tory Lanez is in jail, allegedly shot Megan. You know, we start immediately saying, like, this story don't make sense. What you mean? How you dancing and you just got shot in the... Shut up.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
What?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
There
was a moment I had questions. You know, I like when stories make sense. And there was something about the story. Oh, obviously, we don't know everything, but there was something about the story where I was like, I'm not saying he didn't do it because I don't know that. And why would she lie about that? That's stupid. Like, why would you lie about that?
It's a very strange lie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm like, I did have questions about because
she was talking about the logistics.
The logistics.
I knew she had got shot, and I was 90% sure Tory did it. I was trying to figure out when did it happen? You sure you wasn't like, because the call, and then you told the police that you stepped on glass, but you was trying to protect the black man. So I don't know.
But then, as she's explaining it in the documentary, when she was just like, yeah, like George Floyd had just been killed, and like I was not trying to get
that makes a whole lot of sense.
That makes sense.
If anybody doubts that, if you were not there in 2020 pandemic era,
that was insane.
That was a crazy. Like everybody was on high alert. Based on that.
And also outside of that, I would like to say black women have been conditioned to protect the black man at all costs. Even if it's to your detriment.
Because that's what even Kelsey was doing on the phone.
To protect the black man at all costs.
Tory was like, yeah, well, I mean, you know, whatever you got to do to just get me out of it. Like, why did she have to?
I don't think she was trying to protect the black man. I think she was trying to protect her man. I think, now that we know that there was a little...
So then we get a little intermission.
If I was Kelsey, I would have been like, oh, you did this for her. I'm going to let you be where you at because you shot somebody. I may not fuss with y'all anymore. But
Kelsey,
you're going to be in jail though.
I'm going to get to this bitch.
Because that's what I would have done. If I discovered things and then this happened after, I'm for sure telling everybody, yes, he did. He did do that. Yeah. But we're not anymore. Bye.
Right.
And that's it.
So in the meantime, we get a little intermission because she was going through all this media scrutiny. Did he not? Questions.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And Tory was on here smiling on live. Tory was living his best life. I did not like that. You know, he had released songs about her. Tory was just, for somebody who's guilty, because the court said you guilty to me. That was unhinged behavior. Like the video with him cutting up the horse legs.
He didn't have a team to tell him like, baby, no.
Oh,
he didn't have PR.
Tory, I have a.
Because I met his sister. I interviewed his sister twice. She's nice.
I have,
and she has media
experience as well with people that have. But yeah, you know, I've had people that have dealt with this man, and he definitely has energy that is hard to say no. So I don't see that his team could stop him from doing something. Really, he's just.
That's weird because I would have been like, first of all, you're not a U.S. citizen. You probably have an entertainer visa. No, let's talk about it. You probably have an entertainer visa.
Yeah.
I don't think this is helping, especially now that we know that the U.S. courts have been known to use lyrics and certain things now in the arts to actually help build a character around you. Why would you do that?
I have no idea. But in the meantime, Megan is going through it mentally because she's like, everybody hates me. Clearly, because she didn't want to press charges. The state of, was it California? I think they pressed charges. The DA pressed charges. So obviously now she's the victim. She has to talk and everything. So it's like,
the DA, I can see that.
So it's like, it's kind of like, yo, like, but to see, I think she saw, at least maybe there were people on her side, but from her perspective, looking at it, you're probably like, nobody's on my side. Like, this is crazy.
Especially when it's the closest to you. And you expect that person to, like, are you going to say something? And the person is not saying what
when
you
they
thought
say
she was going to say.
When they do say, okay, wait, hold on. In the meantime of this going on, she hops on WAP with Cardi B. This makes things worse.
Oh, this song was so good.
This makes things worse for the media scrutiny.
I'm
because
talking
she was
wap, macaroni in the pot. I'm sorry. Yeah. That needed to.
No, that song it slapped, and we was on it that summer because WAP was.
It was great.
It was a great song. Was it vulgar? Absolutely. Was I Big Mac track in this little girl? For sure.
We all.
But
we all said what?
I said
okay.
The thing in the back of my.
Yep.
Nice, but it's music.
But also outside of that, let's not act like we didn't do some of the things that they mentioned. Okay, because
excuse me.
I'm just saying.
Yep.
I'm saying this for y'all watching, because
just so y'all know, it's anyways. So that comes out and it got extreme success, but also extreme public scrutiny. Or is this what's wrong with women? What are they teaching young girls? And oh my god, Megan was like, everybody has sex. Just so y'all know, that's how you got here.
But I do think maybe in another country that would have been a bit less scrutinized. It's just because over the past 10 years or a little bit less. Ever since the first Trump mandate, the U.S. has been undergoing an even more, questioning women's rights and questioning women's behavior. And I feel like this is the reason why it got even more scrutiny than I think it should have had in the first place. And also because we're in the podcast era. Yeah. And that moment was the peak of podcasters actually
it was
commenting
so annoying.
on things.
I remember that.
Because we didn't have that before.
I was like, bro, like this is it's a song. Like y'all ain't heard Lil' Kim lyrics. Like, are we really doing this? Like, I was like, yes, they said they have. I'm gonna say it on you. They said they have wet ass pussy, and they probably do, because Offset kept coming back, and Megan had that little man acting a fool, pulling out guns. So I'm just saying it's probably true, and you're mad. Is it dry? Is it damp? Like I'm just.
I feel like you're mad because women talk about things and y'all feel like it should be for y'all, but it's not for y'all.
It's not. And men, you guys talk about the sizes and the positions and I just fucked your bitch and some Gucci flip, all of the stuff.
Yeah, the lyrics are actually, it's like, y'all need to calm down. Y'all need to look at each other.
I remember literally muting so many of the, I was just so annoyed. Like people that I knew were saying like, oh, so this is what y'all are supporting? Like this is like, really, I was like.
Yes, this is what I'm supporting. Yes. And this is what I'm supporting, 100%.
But for Megan, at this time, it probably felt like dogpiling. Because she's already going through the media with this. And now here she comes out with the song that, yes, she's having success. But it seems like the general media public hates her. Then, we have Kelsey finally breaking her silence. I was like, oh, God.
The way I didn't follow that thing, because I didn't even know that was it. Like, I didn't follow
Yeah, because it was like, Kelsey was like, oh, she speaks. And I was like, and Kelsey basically said that she used to be friends with Meg. They used to be close, but Megan betrayed her, slept with her man, or she didn't say sleep exactly, but she said did stuff with a man that she was dealing with, and basically all in but confirmed that Tory didn't, like she made it seem like what Megan was saying was a complete lie. And that's where it bothered me, because Megan said, one, what the hell does not validating anything you're saying because you a lying ass bitch, but what does anything, all of this, like you're deflecting from the shooting situation.
Facts, because again, if I was her and if I was mad at Meg, I would have been like, he did shoot. I would have been mad at everybody. It did shoot, and I will not talk on that matter anymore.
And that's what would piss me off, because that's what.
Or maybe just don't say nothing until the judge calls you.
Right. Because let's take everything out of it. A person shooting another person in whatever limb for no reason is fucked up.
Yeah.
So that's where the moral issue should have been for people. Why are you shooting people for no reason? No valid reason.
That's not important. Because it's more important to know if she actually slept with him or not. Clearly.
I was like, we are losing perspective, guys.
No, but they are more interested with what's going on between our legs than what's going on. And that's the thing. They are more interested with what's going on between our legs than they're interested in the integrity of our bodies, right? This is why they're taking away rights. And I'm not even in the U.S., but I'm just saying, all of this, the reason why this is the discourse on it, and this was the discourse on it, is just because they do not value women's bodies. They only value strictly what they have an interest in when it comes to the woman's body, which is literally our reproductive system and what's between the legs. That's the only thing. They do not care to see if this girl was even alive. I don't even know if she said that anybody called her to check to see if she was okay. No, not even just physically, but even mentally.
She said she did not have one friend in the world. We see all these people around Meg, her team. But not one of them. They're not. Yeah, they work for her. These are people on her payroll, and I just felt so much for her here because it's like you are alone, and probably the only person you would have trusted with all of this is not here. So we have she does the Gail interview. This is her breaking her silence thing. She does Gail King. In the interview, a lot of stuff was talked about, but what came was the analysis of many bloggers, vloggers, podcasters about one sentence. Were you sexually intimate with Tory? With who? Oh, no. There was so many analysis of that.
Yeah, a lot. She should have told the truth if she could on that moment. I don't know.
So she admits in this documentary that she lied about that, but everybody kind of knew she lied about that because her answer was not straightforward.
Mm-hmm. And outside of that, she didn't take away from the fact that.
But also that didn't matter. Yeah. And we see right after that interview, like I guess she had been filming. Obviously, she had been filming along these years. Excuse me. And we see right after that, she's like, "Why is this like what they're focused on? Like who?" And she's like, "I didn't even know she was gonna ask me if I was sleeping with him. Like, what does that have to do? Like." What is this?
Because it's the analysis of if you lied on this, then you can lie on other things. And this is sidebar. This is what's been happening with Kamala Harris. Again, a sidebar. Yeah. It's just a comparison just to say, apparently she lied about being black. Therefore, people are questioning everything about her. Therefore, they're questioning her as a person. She's not trustworthy because you're not trustworthy. Then anything that you do or say is not. You know what I mean? I feel like this is what happened to her. They were like, "Oh, you lied about this, so you're lying. He did not shoot you. This did not happen. You were not facing him. How do you know he's the one that shoot you? You're not telling the truth." From that one small lie that probably she didn't want to talk about her sex. Like that part. Like I would admit it too.
Thing. But I'm just saying. I think what happens is, yes, you can use prior lies for character witness building. I understand this. However, for them to equate I slept with Tory, therefore he did not shoot me is a crazy jump.
No, that's not.
Like, no, that is the jump.
But that's not, the jump is not that, like,
you're saying that because she lied about this, it's easy for people to connect, like, she may be lying
about anything.
About
no, not just about this. She is not trustworthy. And that's the difference. It's not just she may be lying. She's not trustworthy. If you're not trustworthy, your character just disappears into people's minds, and it's like, okay, you're not trustworthy. I cannot trust you on anything that you said.
But here is the thing.
At least that's what I think.
Here's the thing with that situation. She was damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. Because 100%. Both ways, if you say yes, I was sleeping with him. Now it's like, oh well, of course she's bitter because this, or she wants to hurt. There would have been no scenario where she would have came off as a truth teller for this shooting, because people from Jump did not want to believe that she had been shot. People from Jump do not believe black women on impulse. On the initial accusation, people do not believe black women. They did not want to believe her from the first time. But give the victim the benefit of the doubt. There was none of that for Megan, especially from black men.
Yep, that's a fact. That's a fact. I'm just, you see, and here's the thing, right? Where Tory could have been like, "Yo, I was so drunk. I don't know that." He could have literally said, "I apologize. I was so drunk. I grabbed it and it actually shot," which is why it was. He could have said something. You know what I mean? He could have said something. But I'm not saying that would have made any. I'm just saying in terms of. It's just, he was such at a peak of his. That's what I'm saying. He was just at a peak of his career, and I felt like it was just like, I can't lose all of this, and he was just okay with her losing her mind.
You know how many people I heard like, well, I still fuck with Tory music though. He made way better music.
A lot of people I know, men, men. A lot of people I know were saying, I don't care, I'll still listen to Tory. And I was just like, well, I didn't ask all of this.
Like, vraiment,
but,
like,
also, but also, it's like, okay.
Weird. Y'all are weird, bro. Y'all are weird. I'm just saying.
I'm like, yeah. I used to listen to Tory. I used to listen to Tory.
We're not gonna act like talented guy.
Good. That's
not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that when you have a man versus a woman, and that woman happens to be black, it's just you're dead in the water from inception.
Pertaining to what Nikki just said, I would invite everybody, for the people that are a little bit interested in like psychology and how like the human brain works and why we behave the way we behave when it comes to like black people. I'll invite some people to try and do the bias test from, I think it was from Harvard. It's available online. You can do it. It doesn't take too much time, and you will see that a lot of people have negative or positive bias towards a specific race, a specific gender, specific things, and it happens to be that usually a lot of people associate negative bias with black people and a negative bias towards black women. I just invite you to go and check it out, because you may have some things yourself that you don't even realize,
because a lot but it is people argue me on this, and it is absolutely a thing.
It is.
So then yeah, I was saying that she felt it from all sides. She was slowly going down a downward spiral, because I feel like she was reaching out to her team, like saying, she would say little comments to her team, like, I feel like I'm going crazy, like I feel like I'm losing my mind, and it wasn't about her schedule. She meant other things, but the team, and rightfully so, I think they were trying to keep a professional distance, because I feel like there is,
and also maybe they didn't even connect that with more than what it was. A lot of people don't know how to listen for these things,
for sure,
because a lot of people don't even know how to express them more than what you said. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Yeah. It could just mean my schedule's too busy, too crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's like, but it's crazy how much the camera tells, because this was being filmed and I'm looking at her, I'm like, this is a woman in crisis. They keep giving her stuff to do. She's at all these festivals. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. And then,
I feel like she needed a therapist. I feel like her assistant could have been like, or new assistant, or whoever replaced the girl could have been like, do you want me to book you therapy sessions? I feel like that could have just been just a little, just therapy. I feel like they should all get free. Well, they should get a therapist on payroll. I feel like any artist, especially when you become an artist young, or when there's a big thing that happen, or her mom passed away as she was rising through fame, which is, I'm not sure that she actually went through all this, because as she was crying in the documentary, she was like, I feel like she hasn't dealt with this.
She hasn't processed.
So I feel like they should get a therapist on payroll to just be able to like not coach them through life, but be there as that support.
I agree with that. But yeah, in the meantime, she released some of the best music for me. Like, Not Nice, I remember that song was fire. Like, the bars were like, this is what I want to hear Megan rapping. Like Plan B was also dope. I remember the first time I heard Plan B, I was in the car with my ex and we was playing the album and I was like, oof, run that back, Turbo. That was like, and it was good because she was being real. Like, I think a lot of people, we connect to music when it's real. And she was really speaking about what she had been dealing with and feeling with these past couple of years. I also said shout out to her for being the ultimate performer and professional throughout all of this, in like sentencing and waiting for the trial to begin. She continued to perform. She didn't cancel shows up until now. She hadn't. I was like, whew, like, I don't know that I could have been as strong for so long as she was. Like, as like perseverance, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know that I would have
persevered. Maybe she was doing it because her mom was like, you need to.
You felt like she had her mom's voice in her head?
I feel like maybe she was like, that's what my mom wanted for me, and like we worked too hard on this for me to not. Maybe, again, I don't know.
Could be. No, it could be.
But from the way she was speaking about her mom in the situation, I felt like that was that. But I also feel like maybe that was the only thing that could keep her mind busy enough so that she could continue. As she was crumbling inside, I felt like that was probably the only thing that she had as a grasp of reality. Because even like the reaction that she had when she was performing and she would just go backstage and be like all like frightened and everything. And
one thing too that I noticed, she goes back, she does something, and she goes backstage and asks her team, was I good? Did I look good? Like, she asks for a lot of validation. Because, and I want to say this because it has to be validation, because they're not going to say you didn't look good. They're not going to say they're paid by you.
You think it's about, I'm not sure, but you think it's validation?
Yes.
Okay. So do you think, and maybe again we're not therapists and we just watched that documentary, do you think it comes from one, the lack of support around her, of people that genuinely care for her and genuinely would be real with her, aka friends and family?
She's looking for that community. Like,
so
what her mom used to be. Her mom used to be all of it. Unfortunately, and I don't think that was a great thing, because I said it a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah.
I felt her mom was all encompassing, but her mom was everything. Was manager, was director, was head choreographer. Like, it was like, so and her mom was real with her. Whether you need to twerk harder, you need to change this, the line delivery was wrong. She's looking for somebody that will check her. And I don't know that these are like the people that don't know you from anywhere. They just know you because you pay them. I don't know.
Yeah, and also sometimes I feel like people that probably, again, this is me speculating, but I feel like if you work for famous people, and you may want to take a distance from the things because you don't know how that's gonna affect you, and you probably have a family and a life, and you probably just like, I can't give more of my. We all had a job where we were just like, I'm not gonna leave. Like, that's not, my mental health is not gonna be impacted by this, and I feel like maybe because they probably work a lot too, so I would understand why they would not want to maybe do more than what they were doing. So
fair enough. So then we get into like the whole, like, the trial date gets announced and everything, and it really starts. The men from the industry is what pissed me off. They put together the clips of all these
it was kind of
disgusting comments from people. One man just said she should have been popped.
Yeah, they were like
in the head, and I'm like, are you well? You missed the mark. Are you okay? Like, we're not talking about a dog here. We're not talking about cattle.
Even that.
But even that. And this is what makes me think that sometimes Black women are seen as less than human. Again, like, because it's like, what are you doing?
No, this is purely misogyny, and this is purely, again, men, and I'm not even going to say white, black, whatever. Men. And especially when you look at what's been happening in the world over the past 10 years, or even less, men they disregard women's bodies, period. You're not, do you see how many men just think they can just do, and they can do whatever it is. So we could shoot you, we could do this to you, we could do that to you. I feel like that's the problem. That's a men problem.
The entitlement on women's body. That's a man problem for sure.
Literally
but it's because of the hierarchy that you just described. Black women often get the short end of the stick, just by being black and woman automatically.
The intersectionality is insane.
And what I said, let's fucking talk about this. Like, I am disgusted. I'm tired of you guys saying you like women. You do not.
No, we know that.
But they need to hear it. They need to hear it. They need to understand that no, you do not. Once you immediately start degrading a woman based on just her speaking, or her quote unquote list of who she slept with, once that becomes your factor in deciding whether this person is worthy or not of justice, you do not like women. I just want you guys to understand that. Stop saying you do.
And it's not just worthy or not of justice, it's just worthy or not of anything.
It's literally anything.
What it is, of anything.
Like, I was flabbergasted to be reminded, like, all of these, and the male celebrities too that jumped on you, the Drakes, the LeBrons, all of y'all. Think about that shit, and think about what that does to a young boy who's watching. Because I have some in my own family, they're like, F Megan. Because of these perspectives that they're hearing. Like, you have to understand how, like, your thoughts and how the media shapes the global population.
I don't think, so here's the thing, right? My bad to cut you off. It's, okay. This issue, and like, this is just an example, but like, this issue is like such a deeper conversation, and we've had conversations about this, and the way men are raised, and what is ingrained into men. When we say men don't like women, a lot of men don't like women because they've been raised and socialized to understand that anything that is described as being feminine is bad. Anything that is described as being feminine is weak.
It's wrong, it's weak, it's emotional,
do not cry,
it's not
women
sustainable.
cry. It's not good. do not do this, women do that. Don't be a little bit. Don't be like a woman. Don't behave like that.
Like
don't
everything wrong is associated to
literally
womanhood.
their brain is just like,
femininity.
How can you like a woman when everything you associate with it is wrong or bad or disgusts you because it's been ingrained in you? So obviously they're having this conversation. I don't even think they realize.
But I feel like that's what needs to be addressed. The part, like that's
but
why I said
they
need to, no.
They
I feel like they need to understand
where
does that come from, because it's like you're saying this and you're not even. Like you're saying, most of them don't even realize how it sounds.
I don't
like you have to look at it from outside and like, why the hell did I say that? What from A and B made this C? It doesn't actually correlate. You're actually just spewing rhetoric that has been ingrained in your mind by
you don't even know by who. Sometimes it's by your family, by society, by your mom.
Well, by generations of patriarchal misogyny.
And I'm saying this as these men have also been raised by women, and these women have also ingrained that mentality into them. It's not just like a man thing.
Because there were men, there were women also that were in that situation that was like, the ones that were being called online, the pick-me's and all that. These are women that have adopted this doctrine. They don't even realize how detrimental it is to their own. Yes.
Yeah, it is to themselves. And not to be be a feminist or whatever, but I feel like a lot of people are very ignorant to what feminism actually is, and not what we've been told on social media and what people are trying to tell us that it is. A lot of people do not understand that there's just basic equal rights and basic ways of being treated and basic ways of treating other human beings. And I just feel like more people need to document themselves onto this, because and it's, again, this is an example from pop culture, Megan or whatever, but this is a deeper issue. And again, I don't live in the US, but like y'all really need to understand when people are in position of power and they have a certain discourse. I don't think you understand the level of, even on yourself, the level of things that happen to your brain when they keep hearing the same thing over and over again and keep seeing the same images over and over again. So just be mindful of that. That's what I would say, 100%.
And I feel like that's why I wanted to do this documentary specifically, because I felt like I can finally have this conversation, at least on my platform. I know it's been had on other platforms. The more that we can remind people that this is what's happening and these thoughts are not actually always voluntary, I think that the more that we should have it, the more we should have the conversation. And just to get back to the documentary, at this point, she's talking, because of that whole media onslaught from the men, Drake had said something that created a whole other perspective. They're like, damn, if Drake feels it and it's F Megan, okay. So she kind of like goes deeper into her spiral. She said she spent one of the times she was in her bed 3 days. She did not get out of the bed. And this was around the time her tour was supposed to start in Australia. She actually ends up going on a retreat. It was supposed to be for 2 weeks initially, but she stays there for a month. She extends it to a month. In that time, she said she was doing many different types of therapy daily. And when she comes back, you even see it. As soon as they filmed her coming back, her face looked different. Like, I'm saying therapy heals. I think therapy is necessary for a lot of people. I think for everybody. And I don't even think that 1 month, obviously that 1 month was intensive emergency therapy, but I'm assuming and hoping that she kept that going, even up to the trial and everything else. But I definitely felt for her. A lot of the stuff that she was saying, I could relate to a lot of it. I could relate to feeling lost. I could relate to feeling like the world is on your shoulders at some point. There's a lyric that I've always thought was interesting in a Beyonce song that said, I've been alone when I'm surrounded by friends. It's very possible that you're around all these people, and Megan is in that industry where she's constantly meeting people, constantly around people that tell her she's great, they love her, but you feel completely alone. And I was like, damn, definitely felt. And then we get to the trial. The trial is really the culmination of this documentary. She shows up on the day that she has to testify. She's in this badass purple suit.
Also, purple is the color for power, the color for royalty, the color for like...
I think it was purposefully chosen.
100%.
Tory was in a pink suit.
I would not have chosen pink, but hey, because that's not what
he's such an idiot. He was just like, you know what they say about men in pink, right? I was like, what did they say?
What did they say?
Okay. Anyways, so they, she gives a testimony that was extremely emotional. She, of course, in the courtroom has to admit that she did have a sexual relationship with Tory. and she has to recount the events in front of everybody. The sentencing comes in. She's on the day of the sentencing. They are of the verdict. Excuse me, not the sentencing. Her and her friend. She has a cousin that she's very close to, that they grew up like sisters. So this cousin is really the person that at least is a little.
Thank God there's at least somebody.
Yeah, because you know she popped up and she had a little baby, and I could tell that Megan was really happy every time she saw her cousin's baby, and it was, that part was good. And I'm hoping, I don't know if she has any more family or anybody else that is like that, but she needs people that she can trust around her for sure. So that cousin was there, and I think maybe her assistant or they were just waiting for the verdict, and the verdict comes in, and he is, found guilty. He's found guilty for the first count, and as soon as he was found guilty for the first count, which was the major one, they knew that the rest would also be guilty, and then obviously the sentence. We know how long Tory has been sentenced to jail for.
How long has he been sentenced so far?
Was it 10 years?
Okay. Well. You see, I'm like, had you controlled your liquor and controlled your anger and not have a gun in your possession, you probably would have been one of the top entertainers.
That's
right
so
now.
ridiculous.
That is dumb.
But I will say this: had it not been this,
and also his behavior after all of it,
right? Had it not been this, it might have been something else, because I have heard so many unhinged Tory Lanez stories of just him like not being able to control his emotions. I wonder, had it not been this, would it have been something else? But anyways,
well, hopefully he learns some shit while he's in jail.
Yeah. Either way, this affected Megan for sure, but she is now, after the sentencing and everything, and she's putting this behind her. She's in her full cunt, as I say. She's living her best life, Her music has been much better, in my opinion. I like the new album, like I said, a lot more songs that I saved. She looks happy. She looks lighter. Again, this is just me on the outside looking at it. I have no idea. I hope she's taking care of herself, and I hope she doesn't let this situation define her anymore. Because I'm not gonna say bother her, because it's always gonna bother you. It's always gonna be weird that somebody just shot you, and you're probably always gonna be thinking like, "Ooh, I can't really trust nobody like that. Your best friend betrayed you." All of this, but there's ways to manage and cope with it, and I encourage all of us to listen to the signs that our body, our minds are telling us, the gut feelings that we have, the reactions that we have around others. Listen to those things, because the story could be a cautionary tale for many, because that did not have to happen.
Really not, for real.
Right. Well, so like obviously we don't have to do no real villain, no show villain. The real villain. Well, you know what? I'm gonna do it. The show villain is Tory. Documentary villain, whatever. But the real villain is the media. Y'all suck.
I really thought you were gonna mention the friend. But the media, 100%, I get it.
But like, it could be hers.
But
you could do it.
No, the friend is a villain, 100%. The friend is a villain.
Kelsey
100%.
ain't shit, bro.
She's a villain for that. I understand why they're not friends no more, but she's a villain for that.
Yeah.
No, she's
definitely a villain.
Because again, I would have not talked to nobody. I would have just been like, "You did it because you need to pay for this, and you also need to pay for that."
And if that's your friend, like, just if you had any love for her at some point, you see what's happening, bro. Whatever, bro.
True. I feel you, but some people cannot get past the first betrayal. Like I said, I would have just been like, just to be like, because that's crazy. I would have just been like, yes, that's what happened to her. Don't ask me any more questions unless you're a judge and we're at trial, because I don't want to be a part of none of these people's business anymore. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been me. Yeah. Or I would have tried to destroy him more than her, because I'm vindictive a little bit sometimes.
Damn. Well, yes. No. I was gonna say one more thing, but I definitely forgot. So, I was gonna say for me the real villain is the media, because y'all ran with this shit. Y'all ran it into the ground. Y'all picked where there was no more to be picked. Y'all saw scabs and y'all ripped the scab open and you stuck knives in it. I was like, are we really doing this still? Like, that was terrible. That was a person. That was unnecessary. Who apparently was right, because he's in jail. And Rock Nation didn't crumble. Tory's daddy. So that's all I'm saying.
Guys,
we're done. We'll
be back for another episode, another day, another time.
Mm-hmm.
Please follow, please subscribe. Whatever it is that people do on YouTube, you know, like the video, share it with your friends. If there's some clips that you like, share it on social media. Hey, do your thing. Also, sometimes we review things that are a bit funny. Not necessarily. We do go deep.
This wasn't as funny. But this was a necessary conversation. I feel it wasn't as funny.
So,
but
just watch the other ones.
Watch
the other ones too. Actually, we'll put it in the little cards right there. You could just go watch the other ones.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Hopefully that shit didn't stop.
Oh well, I don't think so. I have faith.
Inshallah. You were right to have faith. Can I stop it?
Yeah.